wants to go ahead and do a little recap?
We had to go back to the sewers again to find a murderer most foul. We did find the cleaner who cleaned up his messes, but it turns out that cleaner was a little bit tricksy, and so we didn't quite trust him. And when we brought him to the authorities, he turned into a blubbering mess that successfully tricked the guards. But we were still trying to find this guy, and so Lex is like, well, I'm just going to head home if it's unsafe in the sewers. And so, oh no, lo and behold, he attacks her, and we managed to kill the guy. We took his amulet, which is now half full of deaths. Who knows what would happen? And beyond that, there was lots of discussion and so such.
I believe to add on to the rest of that, some of the group went back to the sewers to try to look for a second murder and more rats. And wouldn't you know it, the elf actually did, in fact, find some more rats and successfully talked them into his business venture.
Ah, yes.
And of course, the cleaner you'd met came back up and told everyone that he knew exactly where the murderer was. Well, or at least where all of his friends are. And that they are a cult of Slanesh that happens to be somewhere in the city. And tomorrow night is the time to strike.
Yep. With magic.
So leaving off on that high note and picking up in the morning after, Alexa, you returned home, well, after another killing.
Yes.
And, well, at the very least, you feel pretty nice this morning. The sun opens up onto your face once again, and Stoneheart comes back into, wait, is it Stoneheart? Yeah, Sungren, there we go. Sungren comes back in and, like, closes the curtain again. It's like, damn, curtain keeps sliding over every time.
Ah, but it's so magnificent, this morning sun.
But the neighbors around here are nosy.
What, I'm mostly clothed? Well, yeah, maybe. Okay.
Oh, they're always looking for my stuff.
Oh.
Always coming around here asking, if they can have some of the books or some of the junk, and I just have to keep warding them off.
Well,
that's what
do
the
you know
stick
what
of the corner's
you have
for.
Here?
Like, of course I do. It's all mine.
Well, maybe if it was cleaned and maybe organized a little, you could see what you have. Like that closet?
Well, I mean, it is organized. I know where everything is. I've just been, moving things around a little bit lately. See, I even managed to clean up your room a little bit. He says as he goes over to one of the corner rooms, opens it up, and well, where it was previously completely filled with junk, there's now enough room to say step into the room.
Well,
coming along nicely.
Okay. It would be nice not to sleep on a couch, but nevertheless, I'm glad it's not the floor. By the way, do you happen to know of where I might be able to go to speak to somebody who might know about religions?
Well, there's a lot of them. I guess it depends on which one you want to talk about. There's definitely the Temple of Ulrich, Verena. Let's see, what was the Helier one? The one
Shalia.
that everyone goes to all the time.
Everybody loves Shalia.
Ah, yeah, Shalia. Everyone loves Shalia. The corner horror, really. There's the Temple of Sigmar. There's Myrmidia. I don't know what that one's about. I just kind of remember the name a little bit.
Is there, I don't know, like a university that's not magic-based?
He kind of scratches his head a little bit. I don't know. If the humans of the city have something like that, they haven't told me about it yet.
Well, I need to find a scholar who can discuss the dream that I had, and I don't know if I want to go talk to the wizard.
Ah, yeah. I understand. Not always nice having to go to the wizards if you want to talk about dreams, but then again, mine are more personal in nature.
Oh, is that right?
He just kind of dodges eye contact, looks down a little bit. So they're nothing. They're nothing. It's fine.
She'll smile and say, "Okay, I understand." Yeah, you don't see too many. I don't know. Are you still a bachelor? Or are you looking for?
No, not since the old love died.
Oh, sorry to hear that.
It was a century ago. Don't mind yourself about it.
Oh, do you have any kids?
Well, if I do, they're not coming around anymore.
Well, I suppose.
Kind of
Well, you guys keep trash talking me. I'm not
No.
trying to seduce him.
No, I will try.
Don't shave. Grow a beard.
It's okay. The whole party just gonna roll into town to seduce everyone.
Yeah, I can make a potion to grow hair. No, not hairs, but hair. You know.
Still, he's gonna look and kind of think a little bit. Well, I suppose you could always go asking around town, but well, I'd like you to do at least a little work this morning.
Of course. I'm actually starting to learn things as soon as I think I'm getting better. I can see my progress. I'm just not quite there yet, but I'll spend the morning working and repairing things as best as I can. Can I try another roll to see if I can fix a piece of armor?
Absolutely.
I keep failing because I'm untrained in it.
And not only that, but your teacher also kind of gets a little distracted. Instead of like talking about like, oh yeah, you need to do this or that, he kind of goes, well, you see, when you want to fight Skaven, what you really got to do is you got to go straight for those whiskers. If you can lop those off, off of a side swing, they'll get all distracted for a little while.
See, I have an elf friend who likes to shoot them in the dick.
To this, he just bursts out laughing. All an elf could be so cruel, but I definitely approve.
Well, it seems to work. I think he shot more than one. But in any case,
You want to give it a second go?
I'm more trying to. My mission here is to find a scholar that can focus on dreams or something like that, or theology. So
All right,
as soon as I'm able to, I'm
gossip
gonna go.
check.
Now, would this be an easier task, or would it be a more difficult task, or?
If you're going around asking who can tell me about my dreams, give it a plus 20. Emmerich actually makes a very good point.
Hmm?
About wooing the dwarf.
Well, I
Oh,
didn't add the plus 20 to it, but that
Okay,
would have
well, if we add the
succeeded
20 to it, then that is a success.
Mhm.
Talking around town, you of course get the answer. Well, if you want to talk about dreams, obviously you go to a wizard.
Ah.
You go to the
oh.
Or you go find a priest of Moor, and well, they're always hanging around Moor's garden. You could always bother one or two.
Okay, well,
Tell them
I
about
guess
the terrible dreams of death you've had.
I haven't had dreams of death. Well,
Oh, I mean, they
okay.
still ought to have an answer, right? I mean, they know everything. It's their thing, right?
Well, okay. I'll try there, and then I guess I can go to the wizards. But it just ain't natural.
Boo.
Ooh.
Wizards, get out of here, crummy wizards. All right.
I just think that wizards shouldn't have library cards and should sit at the back of the bus. Wait, what?
You don't have
Keep them in
libraries.
their own
We
district.
have the libraries.
Anyway.
All right, so
yes.
you're gonna go seek out a priest of Moor.
Yes.
And well, there's Moor's garden. And usually, there's one or two acolytes, or sometimes someone more important tending the graves.
I'll just sort of flag one down and say, "Oh yes, hello. This is gonna sound weird, but I had a dream, and I wanted to discuss it with somebody who might know about these sorts."
Ah, yes, my child. Please come over here to the bench. We'll sit a while together.
Okay. Well, it's So she'll sit down and say, it's kind of strange. It's not about death.
Well,
I
that's
think it's
already a good sign in itself, isn't it?
Well, so it's about the sunrise, and I see 5 eagle feathers that fall, and then I remember seeing a woman on a horse, and she's decked out in amazing armor, and she has wings behind her, and the sun just sort of gets higher and higher, and everything turns to light, and I wake up every morning with this glorious feeling in my heart, like, oh, I'm seeing the sun again. I can't describe it. It's strange. But I think it means something. How can it not mean something?
He spends a little time humming and scratching his beard and kind of nodding along, going, I see. Perhaps the sun symbolizes rebirth of some kind.
Yes, it could. But
Perhaps you're meant to become something, and that is what your dream foretells.
That's...
But of what? Some of it sounds a little familiar.
Oh?
Yes. I believe, the figure you, mentioned, the knight on the hill, it sounds very familiar to the Knights of Kislev. I
Really?
remember seeing a, contingent coming through town, and they were, well, quite fancy, I'll say that at the very least. Huge banners of feathers right tailing over their heads.
You don't say. Are they still here? I'd love to talk with them.
Unfortunately, I don't think they've stuck around. I think they're out with Toddbringer at the moment, fighting against chaos.
Fucking Toddy. I mean...
Yes, indeed. He just sighs at that.
Well, yeah, shoot. Do you think there's any still left in the city? How would we even find them?
I'm not so certain how we might find them, but I think there might be an envoy somewhere in town. Some representative of their culture.
There has to be. I know there's one for the Bretonians. I've been.
Perhaps you could ask around and see if anyone else would know. I'm afraid I don't leave the garden too often myself.
Oh, but that's... Yeah, you've given me a lead here. Here, I must make a temple donation. Thank you for your kindness. And she'll give him a...
Give a...
Oh, did I cut out?
Yeah, you did.
I said, thank you for your kindness, and I'll give him a gold crown.
He'll smile and clasp his hands to yours and go, "Thank you, my child. Your thoughts are appreciated. Please, if you have any such troubles again, you're free to always come by."
Thank you. And she will, of course, now try to locate the, I guess, consulate or emirate or something, or whomever, even if it's just a single house of where the Kislev...
Alright, go ahead and, roll gossip again. Give it a +10, because Northerners sometimes stick out a little bit. That was with it. Well, you did fail, but you did still hear some things. Let me go ahead and see what I wrote down. Well, you talk around, and people don't really know that there's an envoy. That's really odd. Nobody told them about that. When did that happen? But there is but some people, mostly the refugees, talk about a blonde-haired northern man who appears in the Bernabu Stadium when the sun goes down. The Elven and Dwarven armies no longer stay there, as they're out hunting chaos with Toddbringer, like everyone else. And so refugees sleep there when they have no tents, as it protects slightly from the wind. And the man will come by when the sun goes down and light the fires in a brazier he's dragged in and tend to it all night before vanishing in the morning.
Whoa. I must see him. So I guess I would spend the day coming back to work a little bit more and to see if my friends have returned to bring us on a new grandiose scheme to fight things, or
if they have friends. Let's see who's here. But go ahead and finish. Or else, what would you be doing?
Or else then, yeah, I would just spend the afternoon working again to see if I can fix something. I'm so close. It's almost like I could very quickly draw into the career and get that trade skill. But I'll try one more, and then I'll wait for... Usually in the afternoon, people will...
I'm gonna put this here to represent Sungrin's house. Alright, so
Nope.
he's just there. Oh man, he's so squat. Okay. So let's see. Who do we zoom over to next? Go ahead and raise your hand.
Me.
Ah, there we go. Emmerich. Gustav, you spoke with Ivar last night. Or Eisen. I gotta keep remembering these names.
Yep.
And when you return in the morning, he is busy writing a letter.
I have taken a bath, and I just say good morning, master. Was I just like I still have work to do on the star charts, so I just wait for him to finish what he's doing, and I before
You had
speaking.
already mentioned to him your plan, I believe,
Yep.
right?
Already.
Okay.
So
And
while-
he sort of stays quiet for a bit as he's like very intent on figuring out the wording and such, and barely even greets you until he's done and finally looks up and goes, "Ah, there you are."
Yes.
And we'll roll up the letter and hand it over to you. This should serve as a letter of introduction if you wish to speak with Lady Maer.
Thank you, master.
It's the best I can do, but well, hopefully it gets you what you need.
Sure. Gustav will, while he was finishing his letter, would just try to read the stars to see if, well, to have his fortune, read his own fortune.
All right, go ahead and read some fortune. You got the star charts right in front of you.
Yeah. Now I need to rolling. What? What was it?
He was making a One Piece joke. Don't mind him.
Oh.
Wow. I don't know if you did that on purpose, Griff.
And
Maybe.
well, you have to roll 1d10, GM.
Oh boy. Secretly?
No, because I didn't fail the test. Oh boy!
All right. So what does this mean?
Dark comments. The character player receive a -10 penalty for 1d10 days to a statistic or skill relating to his star sign. And
For
mine
1d10 days.
Yeah. Mine is greased goat. Oh boy!
What's the grease goat do to you?
It's not fun.
I think it's repressed desires.
Oh.
Yeah, something like that. Like,
It should say at in the
yeah, I'm trying to
near the start of the book.
Yeah, adventures, social class.
Oh man, I still gotta go back
Star
over dooms for
sign.
everyone.
Scene of denied patience. Yep, Gustav was born under the greased goat.
I'll just make sure I wasn't hearing that right.
But how does that correlate to the statistics?
You choose one skill or statistic related to denied patient, and I take a -10 for 10 days.
Obviously to fellowship.
Damn!
Definitely nobody's going on a date with you.
Gustav is even more of an asshole now.
Mm.
I already
now
have my
doom.
doom.
It's time to get rid of this. Oh no.
So it's
My doom is thou shalt feed the barren soil with thy blood.
Oh, but that's Doom, though.
Yep.
That's doom, yeah.
Yeah, mine is
Still gotta go over
dooms
dooms and get you doomed.
Yeah, and there's an expression, greased priest. The person who was apparently forsaken worldly goods and pleasure. From priest,
Eisen, of course,
goat.
is gonna like look up from his own work for a little bit and just kind of look at you and go,
And just, like,
and
Gustav would say, "Damn it!"
he just kind of like looks you in the eye, like he entirely knows the feeling and like shares sympathy to you. Sometimes the stars just aren't right, are they?
Yeah. Oh.
Goes
Well,
ahead and like takes a look over your shoulder at your work, and then like gives a shiver. Oh, maybe just stay indoors for a while. You see, this is why I stay in this high tower. Nobody comes around here, and I don't have to talk to anybody.
yeah. Well, never mind. I need to go find the elephant. Thank you, Master Pro. I'll get back as soon as I can, but I finished both star shots, so.
Ah, excellent, excellent work. I'll get through this pile yet.
And Gustav will, well, take the opportunity while his master is distracted, like always, to just go meet with a white mage. Yes.
All right. Let's see, let's see.
Wanna be a white
Well,
mage?
it's still before noon by the time that you're done with your start charts. And of course, you've been told at the very least where she might end up during the day. And during this time, she happens to be at her home in Grafsmund. And she tends to stay there before walking over to the Guild of Wizards in the evening. Of the homes in Grafsmund, this one is simple in its design and color, covered in white plaster with embossed patterns that seem like the winds of magic themselves. The
Huh.
building is the architectural equivalent of standing up straight, squaring your shoulders, and coughing politely for attention. Lady Renat herself is seated in her dining hall. You are allowed entry when you present your letter, and it is carried inside before you are taken to the dining hall itself. She is there with a light tray of biscuits and meat on one side and a chessboard with a very nervous and fidgety servant playing against her in the other. Her eyes seem to be boring a hole into the poor man, and he avoids hers, as she seems to radiate an aura of brightness without light, like a glare in a mirror.
Yeah, I imagine
She gently waves for you to come closer.
I imagine in my witch side she looks like fucking bacon light, so it's even more painful for me.
Oh
to
yes,
look at her.
if you attempt to look at her which side, it's a little bit like looking to the sun. You have to just put your arm up against your eyes and just sort of squint.
I don't really control. I don't think wizard really control the which side it comes and goes. But yeah, sure. So yeah, I'll approach her when shielding a bit my eyes and saying, good day, my lady. What would be the proper term? Master?
Lady would work.
My lady. Maybe I should come a later time. Am I bothering you?
Oh, of course not. I'm just, well, enjoying a little bit of a game, she says as she looks over at the, fidgety player next to her. I have to alternate the servants every now and then. They get a little bit, frantic when they have to play against me. And the poor servant just kind of like looks up into you with the eyes of desperation. And looking at the board, you can tell he's like in a losing position and like under a few moves.
Well, if I would be honored to play with you if you'd like, if you let, I mean.
Oh, that would be
Okay.
fantastic, she says as she just claps her hands together and looks over the servant and just kind of shoos him off. She like daintily takes the pieces on the board and like sets them back into the starting position. And she opens with white and makes the first move.
Of course,
So,
yes.
how is Eisen doing?
Oh, he's doing well, I think.
I don't suppose he's actually left his tower in a few days, has he?
I don't think so. I don't think he has slept either.
Poor little man, always gets so distracted. Always constantly looking up at the sky, but what is one to expect?
Forgive me for coming to you, but my group I sometime again with group I came in town with, and we're sort of working together, have found activities of a cult of chaos in the city that's behind a murder.
I see. Which murders would these happen to be?
Um, well, have you heard about the axe murderer on the street?
She'll look over to one servant who walks away and fetches a scroll. And she'll take it, open it up, and sort of read it very briefly. Ah, over in the Grafsman district.
Yes, well, he killed 3 people, and one of the victim was killed by a group named the Jade Scepter, trying to frame the murderer. Well, my friend and I, we call him, by the way, the axe murderer. He was a lonely servant of yet another chaos god, but he is dead now.
I see. I had started to suspect as much. He continued to leave around his modus operandi. But I hadn't sent anyone out yet. I thought the local guards would handle him eventually. He is, as you said, just a single person, wasn't
He
he?
was, yes, it was.
But you say there's another cult operating in town.
Yes, apparently they have infiltrated. They hired themselves among the noble of the city, and the cult of Slanesh, and well, I can very well sleep peacefully while knowing there is such depraved individual in town.
Of course. It's only right to stop those who would try to turn this city into something terrible.
Exactly.
But tell me, what do you know of them?
Well, not much. I'm not very responsible for this one murder, but I only know their cult of Slanesh, and they are among the nobility of the city, and they were thought extant after a summoning gone wrong, but apparently they are still here.
So you don't know very much. Do you know if the murderer in particular happens to be there?
Yes.
She nods a little bit. And who would be the source of the information on this? Did you see it
Ah,
yourself?
well, the source is from, let's just say, the lower, well, more questionable part of society.
She'll
Um,
just cough a little politely at that.
Hmm. I, yeah.
I see. So you haven't seen it yourself. You have only someone's word.
Yes, but I
But
have,
you do know that he would be there. Or
yes,
she.
and I have good reason to trust those words.
Do you know what the motive might have been?
I don't know. Maybe a vengeance, some um, sacrifice, or just trying to frame someone outside of the cult to go unnoticed.
She'll take a look at her notes for a second, kind of look back at it. So, suppose we don't really know then why. I suppose we'll find out soon, perhaps what the Purple Hand was up to over in the Grafsman then. And she'll sort of think for a moment while continuing to play. Give me an intelligence check.
Sure. Ooh.
You are keeping her engaged at the very least, but she's very much controlling the game and just taking out piece by piece as she goes. So tell me about your little group. What keeps you together? And I suppose,
common.
why are you off in the Craftsman district at night looking for murderers?
Well, because I saw in a spell that one the murderers would go after my friend, so I was worried for her. And what keeps us together, I guess, it's shared past um, adventure and accidents. It's it's a long story.
Yes, the tragedies of the current times have brought many people together.
Yes, indeed.
But yet, you come together and you do so to continue. What do you all do in this city?
Trying to make it a better place, at least more bearable.
And what would be a bearable city to you?
A city's clean of chaos stains, but
In just that?
well,
She knocks out your queen as she says that.
uh, um, yes, yes, maybe a little less poverty, but what can you do about that? I mean,
Well, there is, of course, the commission over in the Wind District, but, well, it hasn't been rebuilt since the siege. The architects have their own little list, and the bailiff does not have the authority to tell them what to focus on first.
I see.
So, work is slow, and so is the remediation. People's health, education are put on the sideline until other things are finished. So now, the poverty of the people is attached also to the defense of the city, isn't it?
Well, the better off the people, the less tempted they would be to turn to criminal activities and dangerous cults.
But the other option is to leave the city a little less defended, to put the choice between their deaths or their temptation.
I
Which is the correct choice?
uh
That she has sort of checkmated your king at this point, after toying around with it for a few turns.
I think both both are the good choice. There's not really a bad choice in the situation, but maybe
She nods, of course. But where do you find the time or resources for it?
I I don't know.
Well, at the very least, it's been a pleasant talk. And, well, I don't quite trust your information. Not because of you, but because there's
Yes,
simply very little.
I can understand that.
I'm not sure what I would tell the bailiff himself about this. I'd perhaps say perform some sort of investigation. But if you believe that there is a dangerous cult, I could
I do.
perhaps offer a few of my acolytes from the defense to assist you.
I it would be an honor.
She'll go ahead and take another piece of parchment and start scratching out a little note and hands it over to you. If you go back to the guild and pass this along, at least 3 of my acolytes will accompany you wherever you wish tonight.
Thank you, my lady. I
Annie,
don't know.
it's my pleasure and my duty to assist.
Yes, of course.
And of course, I wish you the best of luck aiding the poor of the city. We have so many these days.
Gustav will nod his head and say, thank you very much. I'll shut up. leave you to your du- duties.
All right.
Thank you. You will.
All right, and you move along.
Yep.
All right. So Ark and Lash, or Conrad and Lash. Who's going next? Conrad, what are you up to today?
Well, I've got to figure out about the golden armor, and we've seen Dred's Brand's armor, which wasn't the right one.
Mm-hmm.
So
We could always go back and actually get the information off of him. He never actually told you anything.
information as in like who made it and where they are, and that's
Say that again?
information such as who made it and where it was made.
All right, and you're gonna go ask Brant that.
Yes.
So you head on over to Brant, and the guards recognize you and offer you in. They recognize you as a friend, of course. And Brant is in the middle of perhaps a brunch at this point, and offers you a glass of wine for the day. Ah, yes, Conrad, it's so wonderful to see you again. I'm so glad that you're back.
Yes, it's good to be back, good sir. How was your party? I mean, I did not get to stay for the whole.
Oh, yes, I saw you leaving arm in arm, and he just sort of winks a little bit at you. I hope that was an exciting night for you, but I had just a wonderful time once again. It's always great seeing everyone here just enjoying themselves. It's easy to forget that to unwind and relieve stress after all this siege business and the constant threats outside.
Indeed.
But well, how can I help you today?
Well, I wanted to discuss that beautiful golden armor that you own.
Oh yes, of course. And he'll just sort of start droning on about it a little bit, just sort of very excitedly. Give me a little charm check.
All right.
Give it a like +10. You've heard the spiel before.
Well, I already got a +10 for being a noble.
Oh yes, add another 10.
Holy shit.
All right. You sort of go. It's like, and let me scroll down here. Doop. Here we go. And mention that of course, it was inspired by Sir Renaud. And he'll go, oh yes, didn't I mention him earlier?
Out of
Yes.
character. I can't remember if he did or not.
Okay. Well, I'll go ahead and assume you had. Ah, yes. Let me show you a book I have. And he'll go ahead and usher you over to one of the studies and pull a book off the shelf, which is, of course, gold-plated. And he'll dust it off a little bit and open it up, and it's a very nicely illustrated book of fairy tales. Ah, I used to love this as a kid. These are the tales of Sir Renaud I used to read.
Yes,
I had them all well illustrated and bound, as you can see.
yes. Does Conrad recognize by the illustrations what parts of the story he's looking at, or has he even heard?
You don't really recognize the stories, though you do at least recognize the individual in the pictures.
Yes, that is certainly Sir Renaud.
Yes.
Although I've never heard these tales of him. Please do elaborate.
Well, I used to read them often as a child. The tales of heroes of Midland. Renaud is unmistakably a man from four lands, but did much to leave legend behind. He's said to have wrestled ogres, fought entire tribes of beastmen alone, and won the hearts of many he saved. I've done a small amount of research in the past on names of people and places in his legend. Villages often disappear and the peoples are displaced, and many smaller communities in Homestead are often poorly remembered or never documented at all. even today, it's sometimes lucky if a new community lasts a whole year and puts its name to the tax census, you see.
Yes, so, well, if you'd like to learn more about Servanol, perhaps you could come with me to the Bretonian embassy and we could look at their books there. They may have different.
Bretonian embassy? Oh, do you mean the barracks that they use?
Yes.
Oh, no, they have nothing there. Well, I'm sorry to say I've met your compatriots before, and they're a little bit of a rowdy bunch for me.
I
And they
see.
didn't have much to, really enlighten me on my work of, connecting these legends to reality.
Could you say that again? I didn't quite hear.
Uh, your friends are a rowdy bunch and didn't have much to, connect these legends to reality for me.
Yes, though some tales do grow in the telling, so they might not have recognized. Of course, Conrad's not going to tell them these are all fairy tales because they don't want to break this poor guy's.
Oh, of course not. But in which case, of course, since you don't shoot him down, he'll go ahead and start to elaborate a little bit on his own work of connecting these people and places to the legends. Ah, yes. Here, let me tell you about this one. It's one of my favorites. It's so typically classy, and I was certain for a time that it was simply someone padding out the legend. Renaud, ever lost, of course. One second. Am I reading the right paragraph? Oh, yes, here we go. First one. Ah, yes, here's one story. Where he's trapped a vicious wizard Arlen into his own house. The man had threatened to destroy the whole village with the very plague he was to die to, but in the battle of wits, Renaud tricked him into tracing out a spell that would seal him away, so long as the magic of his armor held. The community seemed like an isolated one, and as the tale described, he had, quote, been lost in the woods for a fortnight. He was clearly not the best of navigators and bumbled about quite a bit, honestly. But, well, there was a family of Schroeders about the right time, and perhaps place, who had a son named Arlen on their census, and the village named Ebenwald. But it was not but it has not submitted taxes in over 200 years. If this was the place, I wonder if the village dissolved after the event, despite Renaud's victory. Oh, here's another one, here's another one. He's one of my favorites. This one is the classy one, yes. I was certain for a time it was Patty God Legend. Renaud, ever lost, hears the cry of a maiden and rescues her from the clutches of a dragon atop a tower. He runs inside, fights the orcs working for the monster, and then slices off a talon of the beast, forcing him to drop the lady and retreat to the north. The interesting part, there are many maps of the Empire that can support at least several parts of the story. The tower itself could have been an old watchtower meant for spotting beastmen herds. The flight paths of dragons have often been marked and noted by scribes, and areas of prosperity for orcs tribes to settle in can all be referenced against each other, leaving just a small number of possible outposts the story could have occurred at all at.
I
Uh,
see. He went
that
north then.
said, coincidence is not fact, and I've never had the desire to follow up on such treacherous territories. Not without plenty of bodyguards, and certainly not in this season.
Perhaps I could do the work for you. You did say he went north.
Yes, he did. Up the old, road. You see, the road from Altdorf continues from here and goes up towards Ostland after this. Perhaps he, went off into the woods. And he sort of starts pulling out a map and spreading it out on the table and goes, ah, yes, let me see. If you take a look in this upper right-hand corner.
Or you put the X?
Yes. I think it could be somewhere around this area, at least the tower ought to be. As for the town, well, I'm afraid I've lost that map recently. Maybe I could find it again for you.
Wait, what was the town called so I can write this down? Altdorf?
No, Altdorf is our home and capital of the Empire itself. the village was named Ebenwald.
Out of character, just taking notes, trying to keep track of all this.
Sounds kind of fun.
But yes, there are so many stories, but it'd be a long task to bring back all the old charts and see if they have any clues. As well, there's so many of his legends, and many end simply saying he, quote, continues onwards to the north. I've had many speculate that this might have meant Kislev and going north to fight in the Waste of Chaos as his ultimate destination. But I have my own doubts about that. As I noted, Renaud did not seem to have much of a sense of direction in the first place. Maybe that's how a Knight of Bretonia ended up making a name for himself in the Empire, huh?
Perhaps. Conrad's going to be a little dubious about that because he's a Knight of Bretonia stuck in the Empire right now.
Yes, don't want the shade thrown in your direction. Never mind that you don't have navigation, you might have met the same fate if you weren't actually attached to a road.
Indeed.
But he's happy to talk to you about these tales and provide you with the maps and begin searching for more. So let's see. Is there anything else you want to go cover?
I think Conrad's learned, something very useful here, so he's going to share some of his good quality spirits with Sir Brant, have some more small talk, and then we do have to go look for this cultist Lanesh, so we should probably,
Yes.
after a polite amount of time, he'll take his leave and go look for Lash and the rest.
Okay. Your meeting is not until much later in the evening, and Brant is more than happy to just spend some time in company with you as he gets busy with some of his own work as well. Ready to let himself be distracted at any moment. And let's go ahead and check up on Lash.
Yes.
Yes.
I think 3 is being
speaking-
done for me already.
Yes. Speaking real quick, everyone don't forget to pay your way today. And Lash, don't forget that you still need food.
Oh yes, I always forget that.
Yes,
Silly
silly
me.
elf, you need to eat every day.
Tricks are for kids.
Go ahead and give me an outdoor survival.
Never succeed.
Well, sometimes you just go hungry.
Or I'll just
Sometimes
try
it's just the
again in
fate of
another
the
hour.
refugee.
I guess I'm starving today.
Even the usual places the refugees go that sometimes will hand out bread or a little bit of anything to eat are simply all out today.
Alright, how much do I have to pay?
I think it was like a few pence for food. I haven't looked it up in a while. It depends on how well you want to eat.
One critique I have to make. Okay, everybody, make sure you pay for your food. I have no idea how much that is. Neither do I.
Well, that's the thing. We figured it out like a few sessions ago, so I assumed everyone has kept that number around.
Yep.
I'm almost there.
I'm paying, I'm keeping the drone rats open.
Yeah.
I need to look for the cost of food because my room is still free.
Right, there's a few pages on it, and I believe like cheap food, especially at the Drowned Rat where Conrad is staying, is down to as little as 3 pence, if I recall right.
Well, food per
If
day,
you wanted
if it's
better
poor
poor
quality,
food, it would be 5 pence.
well, food per day that's
Oh,
poor
pence!
is 5 plus pence.
Oh.
Average food per day is 10. Good is 18 pence.
Right. The Drowned Rat is of particularly poor quality
I've-
and extra cheap, so...
But
I've been
if
paying 5 silver shilling a day.
Jesus,
Oh my
yeah, you're
God.
eating like banquet food. But yeah,
there
you
are
could literally
several
put.
restaurants in the city. Some of them with
I'm
great
gonna pay
pedigree.
less. I'm gonna pay way less.
You can. You could probably buy a loaf of bread and a cheap pie for like 3.
Oh no, that'd be the 5 pence option. The 3 pence option is, well, what's in the pot today at the Drowned Rat?
Something that moves.
And don't ask where the meat comes from.
Oh.
If it tastes a
Mouse
little
Garden are
fishy, there's a
perfectly
reason for
fruitful.
it.
They get their ingredients to the best garden in town, Mouse Garden.
Ah, yes. Well, with that handled, so Lash, what is your option for food then?
I
Eat
already
as cheaply
spent
as possible.
3 to go to the Drowned Rat to eat.
Alright, you go for the cheapest option. So at the very least, you've managed to eat for the day. So that's another mission accomplished.
Yeah, I think I'll start working on number 6. I'm gonna skip 5 for now.
Oh, okay. I was really hoping for 5.
Yeah, but it doesn't
let's
make
see.
sense beforehand. I think I need number 6 to then go to number 5. I think I put them in the wrong order.
Okay. So you'll probably want to do some gossip to figure out who the old champions were and then find them.
Well, I mean, while I'm at the Drowned Rat eating, I guess I'll try to pick up Victor as well, because I need Victor.
Victor is back to hiding in his room again and not wearing pants. And when he opens the door, you can see that he's smothered himself like all the way up to the neck with some sort of cream from the doctor.
No questions, no comments. I'm not... Whatever he wants to do, man.
It doesn't quite help with the itching, but it does make it a little less painful.
Wait. What's happening to Victor? What? Wait.
Victor has had a rash since your encounter with tiny little nurglings.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Uh,
Shit.
Though I think yesterday you didn't encounter Victor either, so you didn't
Yeah.
find out. So
Yeah, Lash is the one that's been seeing it. But
No.
then again, Lash don't really
mean-
care.
I'm living next to Victor, so I probably saw that.
Well, he's been staying in his room, is the point.
yeah, he's been hiding out as much as he can, and also he's been slowly healing.
Oh, thank God.
Let me go ahead and actually give him another wound back real quick before I forget.
Of course, when he takes a bath, he'll make a chlamydia stew.
Ah!
Ah,
Oh, no.
all right. So Victor will go ahead and help you ask around town for a little while. And let's go ahead and give him some rolls. All right, little Victor, where's your gossip? There it is. Your skill bonus is modified by the fact that you're a little disgusting. Alright, so he doesn't find that one. Doesn't find... Okay, so he'll find... he will start to hear of one of them. One of them named, Lebhard Alban. He's said to be a mercenary, with his leader of the Black Hawks. And he's said to often be, patrolling the wall. Is one of them.
Okay.
And let me go ahead and see if he remembers the third.
That'd be
Ah,
Coupon.
yes. Last one is, Levry, a calm and silent elf from the time of the arena. She is often wandering around town and is said to occasionally get into a bit of trouble. She noticeably avoids the other elves of town. So, with all of this, Victor can track down those two. And it's said that there was another dwarf who was involved in the arena, but he can't really figure out where he might have gone to. No one really knows. He doesn't live in this district.
Okay.
So which is your choice to try to seek out then?
Well, the first one, which would be actually the second one, I guess.
Yes indeed. So you will go ahead and hunt him down.
Yes.
You
The
go
old man.
out to the wall, and Victor will do a little bit of the talking and find out where the Black Hawks are patrolling upon the wall. And it takes you towards the eastern section of the wall where Westgate Student Garden is. It looks over a particularly lonely stretch of wilderness. And from there, you are able to flag down someone and get his attention. Let me go ahead and pull up the picture that was left of him. Where's our arena champions? Show to players. This is your man.
Oh, almond. I thought you said almond.
Could have been. He crosses his arms a little bit and kind of looks you up and down, and then looks at the little halfling who's just, smiling and waving. What do you want, Elf?
Ah, yes, we're getting the band back together, and we thought you might be interested.
I don't recall being in a band.
Yes, it played very fanciful notes with axe and sword.
Sort of raises his eyebrow a little bit. What is this about?
The arena, you fought in the fucking arena. We want you to get back into that.
Well, thanks for finally being fair. Obtuse, pointy-eared. I'll contain myself. Alright. So, what is it that you're doing? Starting another round of fights or something?
Yes.
I thought that was all broken up.
Yes, well, we've gotten back together with the original producers of the fighting arena, and we're setting up a new one.
And where would that happen to be?
TBD.
Well, if it's too far away from the wall, I'm going to have to decline. Besides, I didn't do it for any reason other than just to continue exercising.
What if I give you a chance to fight monsters?
He sort of shakes his head a little bit. I'm up here on the wall hoping I don't have to fight them.
Right, but you'll be fighting them in an arena setting, which means you'll have chance to flex your skills against actual battle maneuvers. It'll keep you honed and surviving. And, money.
Well, keeping myself honed and surviving, as you say, is why I exercise with Bruce's disciples now.
Yes, well, consider
They've
it.
set up quite a lot of individual spots around the city. They practice in the morning and evening. It's been quite nice, and, well, actually a little bit better than having to just spar with someone every evening.
Again,
Keeps me
consider
limber.
the fact that fighting against monsters teaches you more about the combat that you would be getting into an actual situation more than fighting against another person might, given the current landscape.
I'd say he's crossed his arms, but he's already done that. So they sort of tuck in deeper and deeper to each other, and he sort of stares intently at you. Where exactly are you getting monsters from?
The world supplies us monsters, we just merely need to make sure we appropriate them correctly.
I'll be quite honest, it sounds like you're doing something very dangerous.
Aren't we all?
It's fortunate that they don't pay me to keep track of anything but the wall.
Fortunate indeed.
So you want me in particular, huh?
That's what I'm here for.
Well, I'm getting paid for this job. How much are you gonna pay me for yours, then?
Whatever you win.
If I win. I have time. Limited time. I don't know
Yeah.
if I want to spend it gallivanting around fighting, quote, monsters
I told
in
you.
an arena that hasn't been decided yet.
I came here telling you that you had skill All I need to count on is the skill. All you need to count on is the skill. Skill to win, skill to survive, skill to make money. Now, if you're telling me you don't have the skill in order to win, then I guess we are done here.